Okay, now the backup's rolling. Okay. Are we good?
Da-boo-dee, da-boo-die, da-boo-dee.
I said, are we good, not are we blue?
Actually, there is...
It is the new unholy version.
It
I
is.
agree.
Yeah,
What?
somebody's made a...
I'm good, I'm feeling fine.
You can't do that. Are they called the Good Man Group?
They've done it once, and they've done it twice now. They've ruined it.
Jim,
Yo.
Blue wasn't by the Blue Man Group.
Oh, well, fuck. I don't know then.
No.
Blue was by
I've always-
65.
I've always just assumed, like, it's, like, they're blue. Of course they sing that song.
It's not Blue. Blue is a boy band. The Blue Man Group play...
Are they two separate entities?
Yes, they play PVC
Oh, for fuck's
pipe
sake.
and shit like that. Eiffel 65 is somebody completely different as well.
Yeah, they've got frosted tips. They're very different.
Well, that just makes things complicated. Like,
Did you not experience the 1990s?
no.
Well, you experienced more of it than I did, and even I knew that, mate.
Fair. I've got... There are many gaps in my music knowledge.
Look, it's not cool to pretend you don't like something just because everybody else does.
No, I genuinely didn't know that. It's not
And be
about...
oblivious.
I'm not being cool and hipster. It's just... I just had a very sheltered life.
I didn't like it, even when it was popular.
You can't convince me any of that was popular.
Yeah,
It was.
Blue
It
was.
was-
Blue
it was
still
in-
is.
Oh.
All that shit was in the charts when you were just a twinkle in your mum's eye.
Okay. But I've got nothing for this. I don't know. Like, as I say, many gaps in my music knowledge.
Moving on from Jim being completely culturally oblivious.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not completely culturally oblivious.
Oh, almost culture. Come on,
Yeah.
then.
There's gaps in my music knowledge, but there are less gaps in my film knowledge.
Yeah,
So that's
fair
okay.
enough.
To be fair, like, you two know a lot more about actual historical events than I do, and I just nod and go,
Exactly.
yes, I know what Tiananmen Square was, and I don't. You know?
Oh, Grace! Now we can't broadcast this in China.
We never were going to. They've got a wall.
It's very true.
Many
But if
years
you-
ago, on this spot, nothing at all happened.
If your brother ever listens to our show, he might get detained and taken away
That's
because
his
we
problem.
mentioned that. It is.
Because nothing happened.
Mm-hmm. Grace, you were telling me something funny the other day about your brother.
Which, something shit going on with those lot.
So he's simping for that goth lady in China,
Okay.
Oh, fuck, yeah, the
and
brains.
he started eating pig's brain
Yeah.
Why?
to impress her.
I think he also wanted to try it, but apparently what they do is that they boil this thing for 20 seconds in boiling water. They take it out and he eats it, and it tastes just like fatty jelly.
Oh.
And then it's like the actual nice tasting part of the pig's brain is actually the sauce that goes with it. And apparently that's quite common with a lot of food he's been eating at the moment. It's just bones with sauce, and they go, oh, these bones are nice today, and he's like, no, it's the sauce. It's fucking
Now,
been horrendous.
So, for context, just for listeners, Grace's brother moved to China, and there's a girl he likes.
There's been multiple girls.
There's been
with
multiple
similar
girls he likes,
aesthetic.
but this one in
But-
particular, there's this goth girl he's very much simping for.
Yes, I think so. He might just be his friend, but I don't believe for a second he's
Mhm.
not trying to jump on it.
you do
alright.
not give yourself a scar with a knife if you are.
Yes.
doing
He also...
anything
That's
less than
someone
simping.
else. That
Is this a
was-
different
that,
goth lady?
That was, yeah, that's a different one.
Oh, shit. See, I understood when it was the pretty one you showed me the picture of, but now I don't know.
Oh my god. The other woman was in the photo I sent you. I showed you even.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
they've got
don't
different
remember.
hair. One needs glasses, the other one doesn't. One's got different piercings.
I'm trying to find...
You know, they look different.
So
Now,
the only photo I have that you showed me of that goth lady, there's just one person in that photo.
Look, right, let's get off this. This is-
Yeah, let's stop doxing your brother. Okay, Nick. This is probably our last train episode for a while. Just get it out of your system. Any train stories you want to tell, this is the place for it.
So, I don't have many fresh train stories that you probably haven't heard already, because basically between the months of October and March, my most of my social life takes a dive because there's no steam galas, no car meets, no...
There are no trains.
Yeah, no anything
Therefore,
like that.
no social life.
But I will say, what James likes to do to annoy me, because James takes a lot of...
I will say, can I actually start this?
Yeah, okay, if you want to.
So there is one thing that's sort of caught on since we started covering this. Every now and again, me, and to a lesser degree Grace, but it is mostly me because I do the most train travel, or I go to train stations the most. I do try and take... Nick asked me, hey, if you see any of the cargo trains going through, just take some photos.
Yeah.
And I do, from time to time. Like, if there's a car, I'll be like, okay, yeah, let's get a photo.
So here's the thing, dear listener. James is the world's worst railway photographer, and he specifically sends me bad shots just to piss me off, like of the fucking freight wagons going by, or he'll take a photo of the loco while his hand is breaking the sound barrier, or he'll take like a panoramic shot and then just in the distance you'll see a tiny little coloured line, which is the train, but. I think it was when you were going where you live, the biggest town where you live, to do your driving test, right? And you got me a wonderful picture of a double-headed freight train with two Class 66s at the front of it, in Freightliner livery, and I was so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Every now and again, if the moment arises, I'll be like, okay, I will take a good photo for Nick.
I think
more often than not, it isn't just that I'm fucking with you, it's also I've only thought about it too late and I've missed the opportunities to do a good photo. So I'm like, okay, I'll take a bad photo and it'll be funny. And that's usually how it goes. But if the situation arises, I will try and take you a good photo.
I do appreciate that. It's less of an annoyance now, more,
It is. I do mostly do it to take the best.
Yeah, exactly. But,
it's well-intentioned, but every now and again I'm just like, let's just make it really blurry.
I do await the day when, like, this really rare movement is happening, like a steam rail tour or something like that, and you fuck it up by taking a picture of one of the coaches or something like that. It's like, there's a steam engine on the front, and I'll be there screaming internally, like, which one? And you've just taken a photo of a Mark I coach, of which there are many across the British Isles where I can go and see anywhere.
I mean, sooner or later I'm going to start editing the photos before I send them to you. Just like invert the colours on it so it looks like the Mind Crush effect from Yu-Gi-Oh! Just like, yeah, here you go, here's your train. Are you happy now?
Hey, I got a picture of the 4:15 departing Euston Station for the Shadow Realm.
I can make this work. We'll try that next time.
Oh, for God's sake! So yeah, that's pretty much my only train-related story.
Well, I very nearly had a car story, but unfortunately I failed my driving test for the second time, and I will have my revenge just as soon as there is a slot open.
It's still a car story. And
it is.
I'm just waiting for the day when you pass, and then I can turn up on your doorstep with the logbook for a Toyota Yaris, hand you it in exchange for £700, and then go and buy another Rover.
You see, you might have to fight Grace for this, because Grace is wanting to sell me her current car as well.
No, you're all right.
So she can buy something fancy and flash and sporty.
Okay, fair enough. I do already have something fancy, so Grace takes precedence. Grace can sell you her bag of shit before I sell you mine.
We shall see. Talking of vehicles, shall we finish up on Mallard?
I think we should, yes.
Okay, normally, it's only really Grace that will know this, but when we play D&D, I normally like to go, so everyone, what happened last time?
He likes to watch everyone flounder.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Nick, Grace, what happened last time?
Okay, so basically, Mallard is a story about our favourite fastest steam engine in the world, having a little bit of trouble with name calling. To be fair, RedWryvernWrites, there seems to be a lot of steam engines being mean to each other. But there we go. Mallard thinks that Mallard has a stupid name. And he goes and sees his designer, Sir Nigel Gresley, my boy. Yeah, your boy, Sir Nigel Gresley, SNG himself.
So nice.
and basically asks him if he can have a name change. And where we left it was Sir Nigel Gresley wanted to take Mallard to show him something, to basically prove that his name is not so stupid after all.
Yes.
Okay.
Fuck you, Jim.
Sorry, this is only for the weebs, and mostly me and Grace. There's an anime called Your Boy Con Ming, and I'm just sort of imagining that, but with your boy, Sir Nigel Gresley.
Your boy Gresley.
Just sort of, he gets resurrected one day and has to fix British Rail, and that's his mission in life.
Oh,
God,
yes. So there is
the story, to give you background, Nick, the story Your Boy Con Ming, it's about the ancient Chinese general Zhuge Liang, I want to say,
Okay.
and he is brought back to life in modern day Japan, and he's like, I'm going to bring back disco, and that's his mission.
Yep.
And I'm kind of imagining a similar thing, but with Sir Nigel Gresley. Like, he wakes up in modern day, probably London, and he's like, I could bring back disco, but I'm also going to fix the rail lines as well.
Honestly, I do want to see that. Like, if we take some other English myths and legends, there is one about King Arthur which says that he will resurrect to defend Britain in her hour of need. I really want that to be true for Gresley with the railways, but if it is true, he's taking an awful long time about it.
He sure
Really
is.
it's not truly die yet, that's why.
Yeah, that's
He's
it.
waiting for it to be absolute garbage.
He'll like swoop in and be like, right, this is what we need to do. Bring back British Railways.
Sorry, I'm just imagining Mick Lynch being visited by the ghost of Nigel Gresley, being like, you must fix this. And be like, all right, mate, I'm on it.
Yeah, they've both got to band together and battle a giant Dr. Beeching.
I don't know who that is, but okay.
I won't go into this now. Rail fans
That's
will know.
fine. Battle the Ghost of Thatcher. Got it.
For the rest of you, Google it. Yeah, Dr. Beeching, British Railways.
So, Nick, do you want to carry on being the narrator?
Yes, I do, very much so.
Grace, you can narrate. I've made that joke already on this. So, go ahead, Nick.
Here at the Shipping Forecast, we are an exceedingly green podcast. We recycle everything, including our jokes.
You've done that one before, too.
Exactly.
So many times.
Exactly. It gets funnier the more times I tell it.
I mean, we're even doing the same topic because we're covering Doctor Who again on the main
Yep.
show. Also, this isn't the Shipping Forecast. This is Fanfics and Chill.
You're
by the way.
wasting my time. Get on with it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll carry on.
Nick, you're narrating.
I'll carry on before...
Grace, you're Mallard. I'm all the other trains.
I shall carry on before Grace blows her top. So
My gasket.
Your gasket.
Toot toot.
That was a whistle, but okay.
I don't care.
The next morning, he was awoken before daylight by the chief mechanical engineer.
Good morning, sir.
Mallard greeted him as civilly as he could. Usually, Mallard did not like being woken up so early, and he was holding back his desire to snap at everyone and everything around him. Sir Gresley would not appreciate his attitude. Mallard, we've all been there.
He's a broody teen.
Yes. The man chuckled.
You're not my real mum, Mr. Gresley.
Actually, he could have a whinge at Thompson, which came after Gresley, but that's a whole other can of worms. Anyway, the man chuckled, clearly noticing Mallard restraining himself.
It's okay, Mallard. I know you're not used to waking up quite this early.
He explained, bemused, and Mallard seemed to relax slightly, dropping his guard for him.
Where are you taking me, sir?
Somewhere very important to me.
Was all Gresley said, before standing back and letting his crew set about firing him up for the day. Mallard stared at the man for a while before focusing on trying not to fall back to sleep.
Then the jazz music started playing.
Oh, come on. It's not that kind of fic.
No, I was thinking, and that's when this fic becomes sponsored by Monster Energy.
Oh dear.
Mallard chugs a monster and
No.
chugs off.
It could be Red Bull. Red Bull gives you wings.
Could be Red Bull.
And then,
Yeah.
we're not sponsored by Red Bull, to be fair.
No, we're not.
But maybe in the future, we'll see.
It's a
Bad
shit
Dragon,
drink,
call
it's
us.
really bad for your teeth.
Yes.
That's a story we can tell on the other
Everyone
show.
who's worked at Red Bull it gets free Red Bull, and they've got loads of dental problems from like the first month they started working there and drinking it.
Oh, good grief. That's
So like
rather bad.
that's why.
I'm just imagining, like,
horrendous.
like the water coolers with the big, like, tanks.
Well, they have ginormous vending machines with nothing in it but Red Bull, and it just gives you them for free.
Well, sleep is for the weak.
Yeah, you're not allowed to sleep.
Yeah, that's it.
when you
I
work
wonder if
there.
there's like a corporate culture where like drinking water's seen as a bit like sissy, a little bit wet. Yeah.
You don't want to be a beta male drinking that water.
Water is the most adult drink you can drink.
Red Bull, you want to be uncomfortably energetic.
There was a guy.
Grace, what happened to your wasting my time?
Okay. After an hour of preparation, Sir Gresley boarded his famous engine, and they quickly departed north towards Scotland. It was a surprisingly short trip before Sir Gresley ordered Mallard down a branch line behind a station. Much to Mallard's dismay, this branch line was less a branch and more like a backwater track that was only used once in a while to get goods deliveries through. Tree branches that hung over the line came very close to scratching his paintwork. He eyed the offending trees with hatred and hissed steam in his displeasure. He did not want his perfect blue paint scratched.
This track is appalling, sir. I'm not supposed to be on track so unkempt.
It's a barely used track. It's to be expected.
Sir Gresley explained.
But we're nearly there anyway. Pull into the next siding.
Mallard grunted a reply as he narrowly avoided another branch scraping the top of his boiler. He was annoyed. He didn't want to be on these rails that felt like they would give way at any moment in a strange forest miles away from civilization. Finally, the siding came into view, and Mallard happily pulled into it and stopped. The siding sat next to a large lake with the track a few metres from the water. Reeds and other waterfowl surprisingly did not fly away at the presence of the large, loud machine, and instead milled about nearby, completely ignoring the great blue A4 Pacific. Sir Gresley smiled and climbed down from Mallard's cap, making his way to the edge of the water. For a long while he waited there occasionally, making very loud whistles. Mallard and his crew watching him as equally confused as their engine.
Sir.
Mallard began after he began to get restless, but he was quickly hushed by the old man. For what seemed like an eternity, the chorus of quacking sounds echoed over the near still water, and a raft of ducks appeared, speeding towards Sir Gresley and the engines.
Mallards!
His fireman whispered as the ducks gathered around the designer, happily waddling around him and showing absolutely no fear of him or the huge engine behind him. Sir Gresley hadn't thrown out any food for them. He'd simply called them, and they had come.
Oh, driver, pick an accent, guys.
Scouse.
Welsh. Birmingham. Liverpudlian.
I'm not... You keep picking ones I can't do. He's going French. How remarkable.
Oh,
Mallard's driver exclaimed in awe.
I've never seen anything quite like it.
That's more Monty Python, but there we go.
Christ.
I'm trying my best. They're used to me and the engines who come here.
He turned and walked in front of Mallard, who was watching the ducks curiously. The ducks followed him without him prompting them at all.
Do I have permission to allow them onto you, Mallard? They will make a mess, I'm afraid, but I would like them to meet another of my pride and joys.
Sir Nigel asked as Mallard stared at the birds, unsure of what to make of them.
I will personally clean you off in the case of a mess.
Mallard had...
Bwah, bwah, bwah. Sorry.
Don't cheapen this, please.
I will personally clean off the mess.
James, no. I know I made that joke, but this is getting creepier when you say it.
Cheaper than a Poundland
Why is
wedding
it creepy when I say it?
It's because it's the voice you're putting on.
Well, it fits.
No, it doesn't.
Fine.
Mallard had never seen birds so close before. He'd only ever seen them from a distance, or more harrowingly if one collided with himself or another engine at speed.
Oh.
The ducks were completely unafraid of him and wandered the tracks and pecked at his wheels. They were so small, such curious and fragile little things.
I've accidentally clicked on the sidebar and now I've jumped somewhere.
Oh, Grace.
I know, I'm letting the side down. I'm sorry.
Technical difficulties.
Yes, sir, I'd like to see them up closer.
Mallard approved, curious to see the little creatures and their funny walks and quacks. Sir Gresley nodded, and with great care managed to coax one of the ducks to sit on his hand so he could place it on Mallard's buffer. The bird flapped its wings for a bit, its little feet trying to get a grip on the buffer until it stabilised itself and happily perched itself, quacking softly. Mallard watched it, smitten with the creature, as Sir Gresley watched the both of them. Mallard's crew had come down and went to interact with the ducks and the chief engineer.
How'd you get them so tame, sir?
Mallard's driver asked in awe of them.
Oh, I thought that was Mallard for a bit. Patience.
The man replied.
Patience. And respecting them as the intelligent little creatures they are.
The fireman and driver went to interact with them, but the ducks seemed nervous of them. They seemed perfectly fine around Mallard, however, not even bothered by the enormous machine.
What about Mallard, though? They're not scared of him at all.
The fireman exclaimed in awe.
They are used to big engines such as Scotsmen, and sometimes I take personal trips with Scotsmen here.
Sir Grizzly smiled, although his face fell slightly.
Although, Flying Scotsman is not at all interested in the birds.
That's his loss.
Mallard suddenly spoke up, his eyes fixated on the ducks.
They're quite lovely.
Sir Grizzly seemed delighted that Mallard had taken to the birds. In fact, the blue A4 seemed wonderfully delighted by the feathered creatures.
Really? How marvellous!
He exclaimed happily.
I trust this helps you understand why I named you Mallard.
Mallard tore his eyes away from the duck perched on his buffer and looked at his designer.
Oh, I'm sorry for asking my name to be changed.
He apologised, his face blushing red slightly.
I will wear my name with pride from now on, sir.
Sir Grizzly nodded to him.
I'm very glad you've made that decision, Mallard. Thank you. It truly means the world to me.
The man turned to round up the ducks, but Mallard spoke again.
Can I come back here again, sir?
He asked quietly.
See them again?
Sir Grizzly smiled widely, clearly delighted with Mallard's newfound interest.
You're the first engine I've shared this with who's asked to come back.
You're wonderful, sir.
Mallard smiled. He then stopped as he realised. If the other engines found out, they'd make fun of him.
It'll be our little secret.
Sir Grizzly assured the A4
God,
when he saw his hesitation.
Excuse me, Grace. I'm not creepy.
I don't think you're meaning to do it.
Yeah, that wasn't meant to be like a... I don't see a way to deliver that line without...
There's something about the way you said it that triggered my fight or flight response.
Okay, Grace, how about this? It'll be our little secret.
No, I don't like Sir Grizzly anymore.
That's worse.
I'm sorry.
You are doing my boy dirty. And
I am. I'm sorry. It'll be our little secret.
Yeah, that's as good as it's gonna fucking get.
yeah, I think so. Sir Grizzly assured the A4 when he saw his hesitation. The engine in question gave a huge sigh of relief.
Thank you, sir.
Unseen.
I think you were...
I still don't know what a Bittern is.
There it is. Flying Scotsman muttered to himself as he sat on the siding beside the lake where Sir Grizzly once used to take him on private trips.
I always meant to ask Sir Grizzly, but I guess I'll never get a chance now. Who's this?
This is Mallard.
Oh yeah, I just read that. They're a type of bird from... Christ, that's something I can't pronounce.
Botterinae, subfamily of Adiidae.
They're a type of bird from the
Bird from bird.
Help.
They're a type of bird from Latin name to Latin name.
Mm-hmm.
They're a type of bird from the Botterinae subfamily of Ardiidae.
A sombre voice suddenly called out to him, and Flying Scotsman became very confused.
They're related to herons, but are smaller and secretive.
Mallard.
He asked, confused. He'd never heard the A4 Pacific sound so vulnerable before. Mallard didn't answer Scotsman. He just stopped behind him in the siding so that their buffers almost touched. It was the siding that Sir Grizzly always took Mallard to when he could. Sometimes he would invite friends or family. Other times it was just him and an engine's crew. It was always a peaceful and serene experience for all, to visit Sir Grizzly's treasured ducks.
You didn't know what a Bittern was, so I just told you.
Mallard explained to Scotsman, as the both of them sat reflecting on their designer. He sounded distant and didn't snap or be rude to Scotsman as he usually was.
Oh.
Scotsman was unsure of how to respond.
Well, thank you.
Mallard humphed but said nothing more, his eyes gazing out at the lake, watching the birds flitter and wade around in the shallows.
Sorry, I've lost where we are.
Scotsman began, but Mallard shushed him.
You're scaring the birds,
was all he said, and Scotsman remained quiet, not wanting to ruin the moment for the A4 Pacific. For a long while, the two engines sat in silence, the serenity and peace of the lake washing over them. All the while they held an unspoken mourning between them for the man that they respected more than anyone else. The silence said more than any words ever could. Flying Scotsman and Mallard did not like each other in the slightest, but here and now they understood each other in a way that no other could. Finally, Mallard spoke.
You said you never liked birds.
He queried Flying Scotsman, and the other engine gave a sigh.
Not particularly, no.
The Scotsman admitted.
I did try to engage with Sir Grizzly's hobbies, but it just didn't interest me. He knew I did not care for it. I guess that was why he brought me out here less and less over the years.
Mallard sighed. He could chastise Scotsman for not caring about the designer's hobbies, but he felt it would disrespect Sir Gresley. Sir Gresley had held Scotsmen in high regard.
At least he had you to share this with.
Scotsman added, and Mallard felt panic rise in his boiler until Scotsman spoke again.
I won't tell anyone else, I promise.
You'll take this to the cutter's torch.
Mallard hissed at him, and Scotsman gave a soft chuckle.
Of course.
Scotsman.
I swear on my boiler.
You have my thanks, Flying Scotsman.
Mallard said solemnly. There was something in Mallard's voice Scotsman had never heard before. Gratitude? Appreciation, maybe? There was a pause.
Tell me, Scotsman, is Bittern still afraid of birds?
Mallard suddenly asked out of nowhere, and Scotsman raised an eyebrow.
He says he isn't, but everyone knows he's terrified of the pigeons in London.
Scotsman chuckled.
I know that we aren't friends, but could I ask you to deliver a present to my brother?
A mischievous smile appeared on Flying Scotsman's face.
Why, of course, my lord. It will be in poor taste not to help my cousin give his brother a gift.
Excellent.
Oh, this is feels, is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is feels, is what it is.
They're building a bromance.
A few days later, a very flustered and furious Bittern had almost derailed and smashed through the buffers at the end of a siding in an attempt to escape the hideous, feathered monster that someone had hung over the door to his shed one night.
What?
A large taxidermied Bittern had been mounted over the doors, much to Bittern's horror. The big blue express engine adamantly refusing to go back into his berth or anywhere near the top sheds until the thing was removed, causing a lot of fuss and anarchy. No matter how much Pretty Polly or Silver Fox had pleaded with him made a difference, he simply refused to go anywhere near that thing.
You know what? I'm with Bittern on this. If someone hung up a dead bird in front of my bedroom, I would be freaked out too.
It is a taxidermied bird, so it's not that bad.
That's still weird.
Thing is though, like, first of all, how the fuck did a train get it up there? Secondly,
Also that.
like, if I shared a name with an animal and then saw a dead one hanging over the door of my house,
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's a death
That's
threat.
a threat.
This is, they do have crew, so, who were probably in on the joke, judging by the
Great.
engine shed I used to work in, but there we go.
That's worse. Imagine if you had to rely on people to maintain you and keep you safe and alive, and they conspired to hang up a dead thing above your bedroom door.
That's just working in a factory.
Bittern did nothing wrong.
Kind of see why, especially if it's a phobia, but judging by a few other things that I've seen by the author, the A4s are written to be a little bit insufferable. So, you know.
I see.
No one claimed to be the culprit, but Bittern had a very good idea that it had been Mallard and Flying Scotsman colluding with each other. He couldn't prove it, though, considering Mallard loathed Flying Scotsman with a burning and unreasonable hatred. No one believed him when he accused both of them of conspiring against him. But somehow, he knew.
Well, he was right.
Don't boo me, I'm right. Oh, the notes are
And then
so
in the notes we have
wholesome.
a picture of your boy
You feeding
Nigel
the
Grez.
mallards. Oh.
feeding the mallards. That's quite wholesome.
Yep, the man was passionate about his waterfowl.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, on a personal note, that it is kind of fitting that the fastest steam engine in the world was named after a small, brightly coloured duck.
Is Mallard still the fastest steam engine?
Yeah, still, never been beaten.
Nice.
83 years now, I think.
Oh, that's fucking good going, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I found that really wholesome.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I tell you what,
I'm going to leave kudos now.
if some American or whatever decides to, as a hobby, make a new steam train that beats his record, I'm going to personally go over there and torch it. This is
Wow,
the
Grace.
Mallard.
Just hang on, hold on a second. Can I just read something from the notes?
Yes.
You can, but I just wanted to point out, Craig, there's no need, because Maglev-chan has already beaten the record a few
I said
times.
steam train. Steam.
I know.
That's not a steam train, is it?
No, but no one...
Sit
I don't...
down.
No one... Fine. You get my meaning, though. No one's going to do it, because, like, there's already faster trains.
What if Elon Musk did it?
Well,
And
yeah,
it's
you can
steam.
shoot him.
So,
Okay, there we go.
And his train.
I can't remember which specific steam locomotive it is, but there is a outfit in America who are building or rebuilding some long extinct American class of locomotive, and they've kind of sort of like half-jokingly alluded to going duck hunting.
Oh.
So you never know. The record might be beaten in the future.
Well, we're going to have to step up then as a nation and build Mallard 2.
Make them
the Quackening.
Mallard
transforms and grows legs and shoots lasers. Steam lasers.
Mallard 2, the Quackening.
The Quackening. Yeah, which also had Sean Connery in it.
It did. You're right. Yeah. Highlander did have Sean Connery in it. Okay, so I'd just like to read...
I've just noticed the thing in the notes. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello to 3 certain readers. You know who you are. Part 1 of your reading was fantastic and it brightened my day. I'm not used to writing fluff. My modus operandi is usually, oh, this engine was almost scrapped, left to rust, rebuilt into another completely different engine. How does that translate to a sentient being, and how much angst can I squeeze out of them? I think I need to introduce Red Ribbon Rights to the Duke Dog, because that's exactly what happened with those. So I'm pleased that birdwatching Mallard was something you guys decided to indulge in to address a previous podcast. Flying Scotsman and City of Truro are very much rivals to lovers. They just don't show it publicly because a celebrity LNER engine eloping with a celebrity GWR engine? How scandalous. Much love. Keep up the good work and love the chemistry you guys have. Oh, that's lovely.
Oh. Thank you.
I don't know who these 3 are, but it sounds like they're...
Yeah.
It's all good.
Which podcast is this? We should go check that out.
Yeah, absolutely. We should go look. So
that's very
But
funny.
yeah, that is scandalous. I, quite frankly, always felt disgusted hearing about a celebrity LNER engine eloping with a celebrity GWR engine. But, you know, that's their business.
So I honestly...
I shouldn't judge.
I mean, for all my pomp and bluster about the Great Western Railway, I don't have any steam engines that I hate. And I think that even though jokes are made and stuff like that, we live in a more enlightened time.
You're putting away the train grudges.
Yeah, this is it.
Become more mature.
Are you east side or are you west side, bro?
This is it. No matter which of the big 4 that you support, you'll always find love somewhere.
Oh, sorry, it's north side and west side. Shit the bed. So bad at this.
Yeah. Northeast.
It's northeast
side.
and middle, western and Wales and southern. So, yeah.
I suppose that is all 4 points of the map, isn't it?
Yes.
Pretty much.
But yeah, that was lovely. I really enjoyed that.
I just want to see a spin-off where it's all like street gang themed now. Like LNER, just be... Mallard's wearing the wrong colours for this side of the tracks, yo!
Some really, really competitive steam train. Just every time I come anywhere near each other, I'm like, they're sort of eyeing each other up from like one platform to the other, just like, you.
So, can I just briefly talk about Tornado?
Yeah.
Right.
You can, but first I just want to go on. Can we get this fandom introduced to the Yakuza fandom so we can get like Mallard ripping his shirt off to fight Flying Scotsman on a rooftop? Like that's
gonna be.
I think that's the
hard
next
for them to
logical
draw.
step.
Okay, so
It would, but it would be very funny.
when Tornado was built,
Okay.
the powers that be decided that they were going to certify her for 100-mile-an-hour running. Right.
Okay.
But first, she had to prove that she was safe doing it, and they did the run under the cover of darkness in absolute secrecy because they didn't want loads and loads of people going out to watch it. And briefly, for about 40 seconds, Tornado achieved the magic speed of 100 mile an hour, the first steam engine to do so since the end of steam in 1968. So the first rule of Speed Club is really you don't talk about Speed Club.
I see.
Fuck's sake. The secret 100 mile an hour stint. And you know what? I bet you there was someone in Aranarak who spotted it. They just smelt the coals being fired and they just went, there's a new train on the track.
There's
and he
always
just got
one.
out.
People still turned up to watch. Somehow people knew.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that's fantastic.
Drivers are a gossipy bunch. And it got out. So yeah, this was good. There are other Young Iron short stories that we might have to look at in the future.
I
In fact, one has been written since Mallard. A Tale of Two Storms.
Oh, okay.
That's a cool name.
One of them being Tornado,
That
of course.
And Typhoon.
Oh, wow! Oh, Typhoon! Oh, fucking from the Romney Hythe and Dymchurch. That's a place I've always wanted to go.
Where's that?
So, it's this tiny little railway on the south coast, but basically, it's narrow gauge, but their engines look like perfectly scaled, one third of the size replicas of big Pacifics and Mikados and stuff like that. I've always wanted to go. I'm usually not that interested in narrow gauge, but I do want to go see this one.
Oh, okay.
It is like 6
So
hours
from the
away.
notes of that fic, Tornado at Typhoon. Excuse me, why are you small? Scotsman, you can't just ask another engine while they're small, Tornado. So we might visit that at some point. We do have something else lined up that might take us a while, but this is certainly on our radar, and we may well return in future.
Red Riven Writes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I hope you enjoy this, listening to this as much as we did reading it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
Indeed.
I always enjoy talking.
Well, I know
about
they
things.
enjoyed part 1. Hopefully part 2 will be just as good.
We'll do our best.
Okay, we've already done our best, Nick. That was us. That's us done. We've committed to the bit now. We've recorded.
Fair enough.
Okay, we're going to call that. We do have another show to record today. If you got this far, thank you for listening. Come join us on Sundays when we do our main show, The Shipping Forecast, where we'll be reading and reviewing fics that we have enjoyed across all different kinds of fandoms. Is there anything else we want to say before we end?
I have enjoyed. This year is going to be the year of the train. I can just feel it.
Not the year of the rabbit, year of the train.
The year of the train on the Shipping Forecast.
I don't think there's any other fandoms we have trains involved in.
Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
We could do
The Orient
Snowpiercer.
Express.
Murder on the Orient Express. Yeah.
That as well.
Yeah.
Bit of Hercule Poirot.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've committed us to several Doctor Who episodes on Fanfics and Chill after this, so it'll have to wait.
This
There
will
is a
be the
clause.
half year of the month of the train. The 2 weeks
We've
of the
certainly
train.
had. I'll see what we can do. But in the meantime, thank you everyone for listening, and join us next time. I've already teased it. We're going to be doing some Doctor Who fics next, and yeah. If you enjoyed the show, get into if there's fics you want us to read, write in to thefanshippingforecast@gmail.com. We'll look at it. If we enjoy it, we'll probably read it. There's all the other things as well. If you enjoyed the show, be great if you left us a review on the Spotify's and all the other places too. If you didn't enjoy it, tell us why. We might listen to you. We might not.
just want to cater to our audience better.
We'll listen to it. We'll take it deeply personally. I'll
And then
cry for a
we'll
couple days.
sort our shit out.
We will.
And then we'll do better.
Yeah, we will wonder why we are doing this, but we will rally and take your comments on board.
Cool.
I like it when people tell me to get good. There's no other explanation around it. They're just bullying.
Yeah,
me. And you know what?
write
I
in.
get it.
Tell Grace to get good.
Aww.
The Dynagonics of this world, you guys know who you are.
You permanently
Yeah.
scarred me.
This is the first fic that's mentioned. Yeah, Grace, this is the first fic on AO3 that's mentioned us, and you haven't died.
I know.
Oh yeah, well,
This is good going for me.
yeah, this is it.
They've not added me into their fiction just to kill me off.
Oh, this is progress.
I don't know what I've done to deserve this, but I'm sure someone out there is going to rectify it in the next 0.2 seconds.
Yeah, Red, if you can edit the fic, add that maybe Mallard ran Grace over on the way.
Fuck off. I'm waiting for the tag Grace dies, on
Yeah.
AO3. Thanks.
Please don't do that. It's good that we've got this one fic where Grace survives.
Sadly, after sneaking into the tender of Mallard, Grace was mistaken for a lump of coal and chucked on the fire.
Oh, what?
Okay. Yeah, that'll do it for us. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.